Hello, I'm that James guy, and today we're going to talk about probably the most neglected maintenance on vehicles. Well, I guess I should speak for myself. Tire rotation is something that you're supposed to do on many vehicles. Some you don't have to, like my BMW 2013 328i. The book says, no, BMW does not recommend tire rotation. But this Mazda CX-5, it's a 2021, they recommend tire rotation every 8,000 kilometers. And I have forgotten to rotate the tire on. I don't know why, it just never came into my head. I've changed the oil every 6,000 or 7,000. I have 32,000 kilometers on it now, which is about 20,000 miles. I haven't rotated the tires even a little bit. So we're gonna see how the tires have worn, not rotated. Yeah, I have a little theory. I think for a front wheel drive based car, the tires that tend to wear the quickest are the front tires because they're doing the most of the acceleration and braking. The passenger side tires tend to wear slightly quicker because they tend to be on the dirty part of the road. But we're gonna test that theory. I have this fancy little tire gauge here. We're gonna measure the tread kind of as we take these tires off. Lots of vehicles, you know, the ones that actually want you to rotate the tires, generally front right and rear right, you just kind of swap them, and the lefts you swap. But this Mazda is a bit different. It has you put the fronts to the back, and then the backs you swap sideways to the fronts. Now, obviously that wouldn't work if you have directional tires. Many tires are directional, so that obviously wouldn't work because you'd be taking a tire that's spinning this way and you'd be swapping it, and that would be going backwards. But this Mazda does not have directional tires. I guess if you ever change the tires to a directional tire, that would be out of the question. You would only want to go, you know, fronts to rears and rears to fronts. But it gets a bit tricky because now I can't just jack one side of the car up and I can't just, you know, swap the tires with both of them in the air. I have to kind of, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the spare tire kind of as a crutch. I'll swap the front tire with a spare tire, and then I'll just start jiggling them around in the correct kind of orientation. But what this allows me to do is allows me to take a look at another neglected part of the car, the spare tire. Whoever looks at the spare tire unless you need it, and perhaps by then the pressure isn't right in it anymore. But anyways, I'm gonna use the car jack, I'm gonna use the spare tire, and we're just gonna do some jiggling around of tires per the Mazda owner's manual. First thing I'll do is I'll just kind of crack them all loose, and then we're just gonna start moving stuff around, and we're gonna take measurements. The other tool you're gonna need is, you know, the rim lock socket, which I had never seen before on this car. I was like, I hope there's one there, and there is. It was in the glove box. Thank you, Mazda, for putting it there. And just a ratchet, and at the end we'll use a torque wrench, and we'll torque them all back up, but here we go. But first, please like the video and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. So here we have the spare tire in this 2021 CX-5. And here's the interesting thing. This is actually the subwoofer that, you know, for the stereo. I think this just now, using the tire iron, assuming this just kind of comes off. Subwoofer out of the way. Well, that was easy. Here's our spare tire. We'll pull this out and get going with the old swapperoo. While you're in here, it's actually a perfect chance to check out the brakes. You can see here, I got lots of meat left on the brakes. There's a good, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch there. So while you're in here, you may as well just look at a few things. Make sure that there's nothing abnormal with this thing. Doesn't seem to be. So I'm just gonna put the spare tire on with a couple bolts. Not even that tight. Just enough to hold the car in the air, basically. Okay, all done. I went around, torqued all the wheels, checked all the air pressures, and in the spare tire, it was like 10 PSI low. It's supposed to go to 60 PSI. I was sitting at 50, so probably would have worked. A couple thoughts and a couple notes here. As far as my theory goes as to how these tires are wearing, and I was right. Front right tire should be the most worn, and it was sitting at between 4 and 5, 30 seconds of an inch. That's actually getting way down there. The tire behind it on the right side was around 30 seconds, so that's a massive difference. You can see here, this is the front tire. It looks visibly worn in the middle. Compare this right here to the rear tire. Wow. They were significantly different, obviously, because I haven't rotated the tires. Front left had a little bit more tread. It was like between 4 and 5, maybe even just above 5. And the left rear was about the same as the right rear. It was 7, a little more than 7, 30 seconds of an inch. So I've rotated them. I think now I just don't need to rotate them for a long, long time to kind of get them all, perhaps worn evenly. By the time they get to like 60,000 K, they'll probably need new tires by then anyway. Isn't it nice that I have a full-size spare? That really impresses me about this car. There's a thought. Another thought is next time I'm going to use the floor jack. I just wanted to use the car jack just to show you that it can be done. It got a little bit tiring, so I'm going to use the floor jack next time. Any more thoughts? No, I think that's it. Hey, I hope you found this helpful or even just mildly entertaining. Thank you, and I will see you next time.